Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim and Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Syed Mustafa Ali Nasir. I'm a recently appointed member of the Prime Minister's National Youth Council. But today I'd like to talk about sustainable manufacturing and boosting exports in Pakistan's macroeconomic environment in my personal capacity as the third generation industrialist. We as Pakistanis are very resilient people. We have seen tough times and we're going to see tougher times. But sustainable manufacturing and boosting exports is the way to go forward and the way to save our nation and the way to make progress for each and every single individual. Not only will this help us with our balance of payments, but it's going to create more jobs, focus on more import substitution in the nation, focus on the SME sectors, and focus on specifically highlighting the artisans of Pakistan via exports and trade. I'd like to divide sustainable manufacturing into three different phases. Now, normally when you think about or hear about sustainable manufacturing, you think it's something related to the environment, and it most definitely is, or whether it's offsetting carbon credits, or whether it's carbon trading. But today, the three phases that I wish to divide sustainable manufacturing in are government regulations, policies, and the energy infrastructure, what us as the people can do, and how unity, faith, and discipline still plays its role and will continue to play its role in making Pakistan one of the best countries in the world. Firstly, when we're going to talk about the government's public policies, we've seen a plethora of governments come and go, each bringing in their diverse public policies. Whether they stay on the left or on the right now is the time for unity. We need, as a nation, and as citizens of our nation, to put our political differences aside and focus on sustainable manufacturing. And one of the first few rules of sustainable manufacturing, in my humble opinion, is that we have this habit of depending on import for our specific raw materials for our factories. I myself hail from a ceramics industries background, and we do import glaze and CNC compound from China. However, now we are diversifying into different fields. We're looking for those fields essentially which have 100% raw material availability in Pakistan, so that we're no longer import dependent, and so that we may play our part in import substitution, produce products, so we aren't dependent on waiting on supply chains, we aren't dependent on opening up LCs, we aren't dependent on anybody else. We make in Pakistan and we proudly manufacture in Pakistan and we wish to export to all over the world. So when you're focusing on sustainable manufacturing, you need to keep into account whether your factory or whether your plant or unit is a small size or whether it's an extremely large mega size, that all of our raw material is locally sourced, ethically sourced, so that we can also have a circular economy within Pakistan. I'll give you a few examples of this. Now, when it comes to the ceramics industry, we've seen a few problems in the past 8 years. In the past 8 years, we saw a surge of foreign direct investments. Now, at the front of it, everyone was happy. The Ceramics Manufacturing Association was happy, the government was happy, special economic zones were happy. But we failed to account many things into this. And that's why it was a big learning lesson for all of us and all of the industrialists or business owners in Pakistan to keep these factors moving forward. The first and the most basic thing that we didn't keep in check was supply and demand. Right now, the ceramics industry in Pakistan has a surplus amount of production capability in Pakistan. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to export a single container of ceramic tiles in the world. When the Chinese investors came to Pakistan, their wishes or their dream for setting up in the special economic zone was that they would be able to beat the price in China and make better quality and export in the world. However, due to certain public policies made a few years ago, we couldn't take initiative, we couldn't beat the price, and they stayed in the domestic market, which led to an oversupply, and there was a lower demand. This is why certain factories with a production capacity of 100,000 square meters are simply just producing 10,000 square meters, as they were not able to export, and the local market, although it is extremely large in Pakistan, it isn't large enough to match the production capacities of all of the factories combined. In the last 8 years, we saw, I believe, double the amount of factories installed in Pakistan And this is a certain example which we can use for the future, that we need to make sure our research is on point, and we need to provide the energy infrastructure so that we may be able to produce sustainably and produce at a rate that our FOB price is on competition with the world. Because when we're exporting, we're putting ourselves out there, we're putting ourselves on the market, and we're fighting against everyone in the globe. So when it comes to energy, the first problem is we don't have a level playing field. Whether it's the electricity prices, or whether it's the prices of natural gas, which are now almost on par with our LNG prices, which is essentially imported natural gas used in factories. But we are making the right progress moving forward. The recent government's initiatives, by shutting down, I believe, 16 to 18 approximately IPPs, has saved us hundreds of billions in capacity payments that were being made. And in line with the Prime Minister, Mia Mohammad Shehbaz Sharif's vision, we, the business community, are all for it. We're not politicians, we're technocrats. And we only have one vision and one goal, and that is a debt-free Pakistan. A Pakistan where every child has the opportunity to pursue his dream, to pursue their Pakistani dream. And it's our duty, because we were given these things. None of us had the opportunity, or none of us made the decision of where we would be born, when we would be born. We didn't even get to choose our own names. So now that we have so much, we have privilege, we need to give back. So whether that's in charity, whether that's in boosting exports, whether that's in manufacturing and creating jobs, because it's not 100 people you're hiring, it's 100 families that are thriving because of you. So we need to focus with the government, work with all parties involved in lowering energy prices, in more gas exploration in Balochistan and Sindh, uniting all the provinces together and working as one body, having unity amongst us, having faith within ourselves that we know we can do this, and have the discipline of doing it each and every single day till we get it right and then some. Now let's move on to some specific examples of sustainable manufacturing. There are certain factories in Pakistan which have started in the past 10 years. Since Pakistan's largest exports are from textiles, I'd like to talk a bit specifically about the textile export sector. However, if you do go online, you'll find a diverse range of different fields in which you can also accomplish sustainable manufacturing, whether that's a small unit at home, or whether it's an idea you get VC to fund and start your own initiatives. Firstly, in terms of man-made fibers, we have recycled polyester. Essentially, recycled polyester, or rPET, is taking PET bottles, water bottles that you and I use to drink water on a daily basis, and breathing new life into it. Whether that's using them to make PET bottles again, or whether that's using them to make t-shirts, yarn, clothes, fabric, 100% recycled polyester. Not only are you saving landfills, you're reducing waste, and you're making a profit out of it. So why not help the government by helping yourself by investing in recyclable projects? We can look over to Turkey, our brothers. They are our Abe and we are their Gardesh, which essentially translates to elder brother and little brother. What they're doing right now in the cotton recycling world is astounding, and they're leading this. Essentially, what they're doing is they sort all of these waste textiles, whether they're from Africa, the States, the European Union, etc., bring them all in bulk, sort them, cut them, and they recycle the fabrics. They shred them into pieces using their machinery, their innovative machinery, and they're making recycled cotton fiber, which again is then put into a circular supply chain, which again is used to make t-shirts and garments and fabric and so on and so forth. So these are some of the examples in the textile sector which can be used for sustainable manufacturing. And in doing so, you're playing your role in improving the environment of Pakistan and improving the trade surplus of Pakistan, which is a necessity for us. We currently have a $200 billion domestic debt in Pakistan. Furthermore, we have approximately $23 or $125 billion in debt, foreign debt. However, in line with Uran Pakistan's vision and the necessary implementation, this is no problem. If we unite, if we have the unity, if we have the faith, if we have the discipline, we too, all of us can play our part, put our differences aside. KP, Balochistan, Punjab, Sindh, Gilgit-Baltistan, we work together as one body, one nation, we can boost our exports. And no business is too small. Don't you ever think that. Focus on what you can do, focus on the local procurement, focus on exporting. The one thing, unfortunately, we lack in our nation is a strong grasp on the English language, professionalism skills, and a specific technical skill that can be exported. Now, whether that's freelancing, whether that's video editing, whether that's IT, whether that's online accounts, whether that's a call center, whatever it is, you too can play your part. And I believe each and every single one watching this video is much, much more smarter than I am or I ever will be. So I request everyone, I request the nation, I request the citizens to work together as one body, to work in harmony, and to bring our exports forward, bring human development forward. If you need to go abroad to send remittances back, do so. But serve yourself, and in doing so, serve your nation. Finally, I'd like to give a special thank you to the SIFC, the Special Investment Facilitation Council, which has recently brought in numerous amounts of joint ventures, whether that's investors from China, whether that's FDI from the States, whether the EU, whether from the MENA region. They're working together to bring everyone in the businessman community on the same page in exports, increasing exports, and import substitution. And if I leave you with one message, and if you take anything out of this entire message, let it be so. With Allah's blessings, there is nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it. Pakistan Zindabad, Pakistan Paindabad.